Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing this like smoky matte red eye look. I used two different palettes for this. I used the Makeup Revolution Reloaded Euphoria palette, and I tapped into a little bit of this Hard Candy Madly in Love palette, just because I love this brick shade so much. So this is the look. It was kind of inspired by these matte nails, but we don't really have the same tones going on, so didn't really work out exactly as I wanted it to, but here is the look, and if you'd like to see how I got this, then just keep watching. Okay guys, so I'm first going to go into the Makeup Revolution Reloaded Euphoria palette. I've already done a dramatic wing with just a liquid liner, so you've seen me do that a million times, so I just did that off camera, and I'm taking that matte black shade, which is shade number 15, and what I'm doing is I'm just softening the edges of that liner and just kind of like playing off of the shape that I already created, and basically using that black shade as our first color placement for horizontal placement for the eyeshadow for this look. So I'm taking that matte black and just very closely lining my lower lid with that, and then just sort of meeting that up in the corner before going in with my Hard Candy Madly in Love palette. And I'm taking that Red Hot shade. That's the name of the shade, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm just gonna follow that again, which is why we're calling this, you know, a horizontal eyeshadow placement. I know you've seen a couple videos where I've done the vertical placement, so this is just another technique that's like super easy to give a nice smoky look. So I'm following that through all the way out to the edge of the wing. And we're keeping this on the lid. I'm not bringing this up into the crease. The next color that we go in with is going to become our crease shade, and then I'll show you how this all kind of just pulls together. So I'm taking that Red Hot shade and doing the same thing on the lower lid and just going just underneath where we did the matte black, and blending those two together. So now I'm going back to the Makeup Revolution Reloaded Euphoria palette, and I'm going into shade number 8. This is like that red. It almost has like a pinkish tone, which I wish that it didn't. But now what we're doing is we're working this as our crease shade. And what this does is this just sort of halos over the top of the two shades that we already have. So you can see I haven't done any blending yet, and the look is already pulling together. So that's what I love about this technique. It just makes it so easy as you transition from a dark to lighter shade. And there's very little blending that's required for this technique. So I'm using that, and that just becomes your crease. I wanted to add a little bit of warmth, so I go into that shade number 13 in the Makeup Revolution palette, and I'm very, very lightly just tapping that on top of the edge of the crease of that red shadow. I just wanted to add a little bit of warmth to it. I felt like it was a little too pink, and I'm taking that down on to the lower lid as well, just to kind of mimic that same, you know, smoky vibe that we had on the top. So here are the shadows, just, I mean, barely any blending. So I throw on some mascara, top and bottom, preparing for my falsies, but you can see how easy that is. Now, I love that Red Hot shade from the Hard Candy palette, so I wanted to tap back into that just a little bit, and you can see here, I kind of back up to show you. I just wanted to pull that like really deep red back out, and you can see that it definitely works. So I'm just gently tapping that shade back into the same placement that I originally did, and just darkening that up just a bit, because I just love the tones of that color. So I wanted to pull that back out some. So you can see that just gave it a little bit more depth and vibrancy for that particular shade. So now I'm just taking a clean blending brush, very, very light tapping motions on the edge of that crease color, barely using any pressure at all. I want to keep this really light and soft and didn't want to move the colors around too much. And you can see how beautifully and easily that blends out. I love this technique. I don't know if I love it more than the vertical one. I feel like I love them both pretty equally. But it really does create an easy way to get a smoky effect. So I threw on my Ardell Wispies, and here is the completed look using the Hard Candy Madly in Love palette and the Makeup Revolution Euphoria, Reloaded Euphoria palette. But I love this so much. I just think this is beautiful and sexy, great for a date night. Gives you that spicy vibe. It really makes your eye color pop. I just love this. Red can be a scary color, but don't be afraid to tap into it. Let me know if you're going to try it. Thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate the support, and please revisit.